Good morning to everybody. Happy Easter Monday. So today I just made this unplanned streaming just to show you some data, economical data, to chat if there is anybody that is going to have some interaction with us. So it's it will be shorter than usual. I hope like half an hour, 40 minutes, just to don't annoy you. Let's start with one very interesting outlook that is made by Cipri. That is like a very interesting report that I will share in the description. It's called Trends in International Arms Transfer 2023. Let me show you the trend, and then I will show you the analysis of this trend. Cipri is based in Stockholm. They have a very interesting analysis of weapon export. So that's it. Okay, in this document we can see a lot of very good information about export, about import, about the difference between the export and import that we had from 1999 to 2023. So let's make a short analysis and I will show you this data. You can find in the description of the channel and of the video the link to the Cipri report. So let's see and analyze together this data. I will put this in full screen just to have like a better view. So okay. If you have any type of comment, you can put it like in the YouTube comments page. So trend in international transfer in major arms from 1984 to 2023, we can see that we had a peak in 1984 and 1988, and the arm deals went down till 2003 and then restarted to go up. What is interesting, it's not about the quantity of weapons, but like for sure the exporters. So we can see, let's check from 2019 to 2023, so we can see the difference that we had before and after, and we can see United States, first exporter in the world, the three countries with more export that US has is Saudi Arabia, Japan and Qatar. France is the second, based on this analysis of 2019-2023. First exporter state India, second Qatar, third Egypt. Russia was the third, now it's the sixth, so it's very interesting to analyze also this. And the export country, it was India, China, Egypt. China, fourth position, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Thailand, the countries where they export. Fifth position, Germany, Egypt, Ukraine, Israel, Italy, seventh, Qatar, Egypt, Kuwait, UK, then Spain, Israel, South Korea. But analyzing in a better way this data, I can show you like the situation was that let's say for a long time, between 2000 and 2013, the weapon export of Russia and US were a little bit coincident. US was a little bit bigger, but not so much in export. So you can see in this graph that the decline of the Russian export weapons started in between 2013 and 2014. And we will see later what country had benefit of this decline of the Russian export in weapons. So in this case, we can see better that in this situation we can see that from 2013 the decline of export started in Russia, and some other countries went up. Especially we can see in this graph that was France. And after 2022, it was China and Germany. Later we will see the actual world shares. So here we can see in 2022 we saw that we are like United States, which was the first exporter. Second was France. Third was Russia, and all the others in between. But in the weapon export market share in 2023, we can see what is completely a little bit change in shares, and we are like first position US, but in decline of export. Germany in big grow, 13% of export, then China, France, Italy. Russia is only the sixth country in the world for weapon export. What we can see in this analysis is that from 2019 and 2023, there was some countries that benefit in this special chart, and we can see that the biggest growth was for Italy. So I was surprised, but Italy was the country that benefit more of the situation. When we had France, US, South Korea, and the countries that reduced the export were Russia, China, Germany, UK, Spain, and Israel. About import, the biggest historically importer of weapons is India, but we can see that there is a decline of import from all countries except Pakistan, that it's growing up, and also a little bit we can see that other countries like Australia or Algeria a little bit grow up after 2023, but not in the same amount of weapon import of India. Let's see and analyze a little bit these top 10 of importers, and we can see that we have India, and the three biggest in countries that were exporting India were Russia, France, US. Saudi Arabia, the exporter US, France, Spain. Qatar, US, France, Italy. Ukraine, US, Germany, Poland. Pakistan, China, Sweden, Turkey. And after we have Egypt, Japan, Egypt, Australia, South Korea, and China. The biggest quantity of material that we can see that are imported are in this tab. So if you're curious, I will post all the report in the description. And share of imports, the biggest, as we saw also before, was India, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and whatever. We can see and make this affirmation that war in Ukraine was not the reason of Ukraine to be the first importer of weapons in the world. I think we could analyze better this thing in the next stream. What weapon were exported to Ukraine or gifted or moved, and my cynical version of this story is that the West had a chance to send the military, let's say, stock that every country had in stocks for many years, sent to Ukraine, use it, and restock new materials. So it's a cynic way of seeing the weapon export market. And so these slides were finished. I wanted to post fastly World Economic Report. Let me share the some article that I want to share with you. This one is the first one. It's pretty new. It's like 1 month ago. It's from OMIF, but we will see it's like it's very interesting website about economy. So returning back to this website, wait a sec because I went out. What I wanted to share, it was this article about Russian economic resilience. What we can see. So let's see. The markup in the International Monetary Fund 2024 Russian growth forecast from 1.1 to 2.2, as Eli said, stories about Russian economic resilience. What is like the real, let's say, phase of this economical growth? The economical growth in wartime economy, it's a little bit a mystery because it's fed by something that is like internal military production. But let's see. As a share of the global economy, Russia has fallen in purchasing power terms from nearly 4% to under 3%. And using market exchange rates to now, it's under 2% of the shares of the world economy. The real dependency of oil and gas and weapons are very interesting in analyzing the real data about Russian economy, and because of this dependency of oil and gas and weapons, and these markets that are not performing very well in the last 2 years, it can show up to us that it's very interesting to analyze the real data about the economy. Rostat is not giving us official data about the economy from at least 1 year and a half. So another data, it's about Russia geopolitical vulnerability, about the growth dependence on China, Iran, and other. It is a vulnerability beyond energy market development. So let's say India is moving through US. There is other interesting thing about, let's say, another thing that was changing nearly the last days, it's about the position of Armenia. Let's check what I'm talking about. So Peskov was making a declaration about this thing, about Armenian banks. So Armenian banks refusing to accept Mir cards related to US pressure, which is like for sure like the Russian way of thinking. But let's check fastly Mir and who are the states that are accepting the Mir cards. Let's see. So this is an interesting thing to analyze, like the states who share the economical and geopolitical vision of Russia, in fact, not in words. So we have Belarus, Egypt, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Venezuela, Cuba, Mongolia, Vietnam, Abkhazia, but it's not a country, South Ossetia, but it's not a country, and Iran. Technically, Abkhazia and South Ossetia are territories of Georgia occupied by the Russian Federation. So countries where was used before and after cancelled: Armenia, Turkey, Uzbekistan. We can see in this that also the economical ties with countries are not so big in this moment. And it's interesting because the real situation is a little bit different from what the media, mainstream or other media, are giving to us. Let me share fastly, because we said that we want to do this stream not long, other 10 minutes maximum, like economical outlook that I found that it's very interesting because it's from Allianz, but it's insurance group. I will put another one that is made by ING. And finally, the report that I'm usually show to you about the revenue of Russian oil. So let me show you. Okay, so this website, it's very interesting because it's giving to you a lot of information about the risk of every country. The green countries are low risk, yellow middle risk, red it's high risk. So we can see that there is, for example, Italy, I will show you later, it's a middle risk. US, China, it's low risk. Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, other countries like Iran, Iraq, Turkey, high risk. We will close with Turkey election because it's very interesting. Let's check why it's high risk to invest in Russia. We can see first, the pro and invest, abundant natural resources, oil and gas, more than 20 years of continued current account surpluses, low public debt. But the against it's like geopolitical risk, including the Russian war in Ukraine, extensive Western sanction, high vulnerability to global oil price shocks, prone to capital fight, exchange rate remain vulnerable to volatility and sudden depreciation, and whatever. So this analysis is very deep, but I don't want to put it in the stream. Maybe we will analyze later, but it's very interesting because it's giving to us a huge analysis of what is happening in the Russian economy. So we can see that export and import, the ties with China are very big, but we will see that the China's ties with Russia are not in the top 5 of their economy. Let's return back and analyze, for example, China. China, it's like low risk. So we can see that it's like low risk for enterprise. And it's like the pro, it's large domestic market, improvement in macroprudential management, external position and fiscal position are solid, key position in global value chains, new growth opportunities. Okay, so the against it's high corporate debt, rising household debt. It's about the crisis that we already had with bankruptcy of the 2 biggest companies connected to the real estate, strong involvement in the public sector of the economy, so continuous geopolitical tension with the key countries in the region and US, aging population. But China, it's still in a good situation, except it's actually in deflection, but we will see. So trade structure by destination or origin, we can see that in the top 5 import and export, Russia is not. So we can see that the export, the biggest export partner is it's United States, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam. Import is Taiwan first, South Korea, Japan, US, and Australia. So in both, we can see that we have South Korea, Japan, and US that are the biggest partner of China. And the total structure by product, it's also very interesting, but let's see US. US, it's in low risk for enterprise. The economical situation and the prediction, it's about a soft landing of economy in 2024. The pro, it's like world largest economy, effective government, high per capita GDP, high data transparency, currency, oil and gas, blah, blah, blah. The problem are like social disruption, high public debt, increasing shortages of labor, and political polarization and unpredictability of policymaking. This is about the next election that we will have in November. But however, let's say it's a stable and the biggest economy in the world. We can see about the trade structure, and we are checking like the economical ties, and we can see Canada export first, Mexico, China, Japan, UK. import China, Mexico, Canada, Japan, Germany. So we can clearly see that the top 4 countries that are interesting for US economy, it's China, Mexico, Canada, and Japan, both in import and export. We don't see Russia. This is interesting why, like, the position of Russia, it's not very relevant in the analysis of the relationship between big blocks. Let's check Brazil, just to analyze the BRICS. It's like B2, it's middle risk, important role on international regional scale, diversified economy, and there is a lot of foreign investment, but it's very vulnerable for global commodity price like Russia, high production cost, high taxation, and it's difficult to make business in Brazil if you are foreigner, and I can say to you, let me check like also here export and import. We have China first, US, Argentina, Netherlands, Spain, and also imports China, US, Argentina, Germany, India. So also in these, in the top 5, I cannot see Russia. Let's put another BRICS, which is South Africa. South Africa, it's a little bit worse. So it's not, as I can say to you, an interesting country to analyze, but let's check at least the trade structure. China, US, Germany, Japan, India, China, Germany, India, US, Saudi Arabia. Also in this case, we can strictly analyze the real trade structure. I don't see Russia in the top 5. Let's go to Europe just to make a fast check of some of the big economies. So let's check Germany. So it's like low risk for enterprises, and the pro, it's like solid public finances, depends on export, high energy prices, dominance of automobile sector, whatever. So the problem is like aging population, skill labor shortage, dependence on export, but it's like pro and against. High energy prices, pro and against. And let's go down. So in this case, top 5, export US, France, Netherlands, China, Poland. Import is China, Netherlands, US, Poland, Italy. There is a huge connection in Europe between Italy and Germany, because we are very interconnected about the automotive production. And also in this case, not top 5 for the Russian economy. Let's put France. Why France? Because it's an interesting case. France, it's interesting because it's about the actual position of France, geopolitical. So low risk for enterprises. We have pro high quality infrastructure. Many international corporate giants have a presence in France, diversified economy, nuclear plants numerous nuclear plants that make the country less vulnerability to energy shortages, and whatever. Against low employment rate among young and seniors, weakening productivity growth, rent-based economy, elevated level of public spending, and questionable efficiency. In the trade, we can see that it's more Eurocentric except US. So we have a trade structure of export in Germany, Italy, US, Belgium, Spain, import Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Spain, Italy. So we can see that the import top 5 of France, it's mainly with Europe. Let me put another country, but it's India, and we will finish with Saudi Arabia. Sorry, it was not Myanmar. Okay. India. So it's low risk. It's an interesting grow, and we can see that the pro, it's like stable democracy, large internal market, successful diversification into manufacturing and services, high annual GDP growth, low external debt, favorable demographics. The against, it's like structural weakness, including inadequate infrastructure, financial risk to monitor, weak structural business environment, poverty and uneven income distribution, vulnerable to natural disaster, and the other problem is like India-China relationship. Let's check the trade structure. We have US, UAE, Netherlands, China, Singapore. The export is China, UAE, UK, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. Also, in this case, in top 5, no presence of Russian Federation. Saudi Arabia. This was like UAE, but let's check also UAE. UAE, it's interesting. It's a small, but it's a big grown economy. Every state, you can see that it's very big, interconnected with China. Let's return back to Saudi Arabia. Sorry. So Saudi Arabia, low risk for enterprises. We can see that it's the second largest proven oil reserve globally. So it's like an oil giant. Okay, the problem is this: over 30% of GDP and 70% of export reliant on hydrocarbons, exposing vulnerability on price oil fluctuation. Let's go down. So we can see export and import. First is China, then the other interesting and important country for Saudi Arabia, India, Japan, Korea, United Arab Emirates, and US and Germany. This guide, I think that it's very interesting to analyze. There is an extensive report that we can use also in the next streams. So let me see if I stayed in the time. So it's still 27 minutes. I wanted to put also like the results of the Turkish election, but it's very interesting. Last thing, it's also a fast analysis about the oil export. So this is the weekly snapshot about the Russian fossil fuel. We can see that we are still in the average. The pipeline gas, it's very low. Oil product and chemicals, it's still like low. This is the revenue. So we can see that the average before it was about 1 billion every day of revenues. This is a sum of coal, crude oil, LNG, that is liquefied natural gas, oil and product and chemicals, pipeline gas. The peak was about 1.250 billion euro per day, then went down, and we can see here stabilized in the beginning of 2023, and now all the commodities that I said to you, it's about 800 millions per day. So it's about 400, 500 millions a day of revenue less. Let's see the top 5 importers. It's China, India, Turkey, European Union, Brazil of this week, and but you can see that the biggest quantity of materials that is imported, for example, from China, it's crude oil and via pipeline of seaboard, and there is a very few in oil products and chemicals that are refined, that it's like the real revenue about oil and gas. So let's put the last thing that is about the election in Turkey. It's a very interesting case because this data that is coming from Turkey, it's analyzing what is happening, and it's very, very interesting. Two things that we will analyze now. So let me share with you one image, and then we will talk about, because it's the first time where Tayyip Erdogan lost the majority in the country from a long time ago. So let me share with you. Okay, this is like we can see the regions and the municipalities of Turkey, and we can see that let's see that the other Kaluma parties, that is AKP, it's the Erdogan country, has a big majority only in the central Anatolia. In the east, it's like the DEM party here, but the most important part, it's CHP, that is like the biggest opposition party that have now all the coastal part. And we can see in details like this that the administrative situation, it's, let's say, there is a big red wave on the coast. What is interesting in this, I can show you fastly. It's the analysis of the election. It's, we can see like here that it's a little bit problematic because the next election, the presidential, will be in 4 years. So let's see what will happen. I hope that this super fast economical outlook it was interesting for you. I will put some other streams, I think, in the next days. Some new interview are coming. If you have any type of question or argument or focus that you want that we will talk about it, just put a comment of the video and I will try to satisfy your request. Thank you so much to all the viewers, and happy Easter Monday, and see you soon. Ciao, ciao, пока.